always plays. So, firstly, how much of a shock was that?
Yeah, well it's really strange. But in the moment, I think even during this year, especially in this time, we have so many problems. But we have to cope with that. I think Fletcher did his first game, so it's a good news. Lacey, the same thing. So we'll try to find solutions and go for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the academy, of course. So did that mean a lot to you, given the club's traditions, to give those two guys Premier League debuts?
I think it's everything combined. It's the history of the club. If you see, I know that I'm manager for just 6 years, I think, and it's all about, even Sporting is all about the academy. So every manager wants to bring players from the academy, not spend money, because this gives value to the player, to the manager. I just want to win. I just want to be certain that the players that come in from the academy are not going to suffer too much. So I'm just trying to help the club. It doesn't matter if it's from the academy or abroad.
Sorry to go back to Bruno. I know it's very early, but what are the early indications with him in terms of shouldn't be too long?
We'll see. I don't want to say nothing because the last time that I spoke about Mata, for example, you never know. So let's focus on the next game, the players that we have, and then do everything we can to recover the players.
It's going to be a huge test for the group, isn't it? Losing Kobe, now Bruno, on top of the players you're already without. It's that they have happened at the worst possible time, haven't they?
We need to prepare all the guys that we have to the next game. The responsibility is the same. We cannot use anything as an excuse. No one is going to remember this problem. So let's cope with that, and it will make us stronger.
But did we see today a team and a club going in the right direction, the way you played?
I think I saw that since the beginning of this season, a team that is going forward, but sometimes relax a little bit. Sometimes he's not there in the right moment to fight, but today was completely the opposite. We were the better team against a team that plays at home in a very good run. We were really unlucky today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, he ended by saying he felt that Manchester United were very unlucky. He started by saying he thought they were the better team today. What do you think?
I disagree that they were unlucky. You know, they give up 2 goals defensively. When you look over the last 2 games, 2 today, 4 against Bournemouth, that's not good enough. We praise them for what they're doing going forward. More of a goal threat, and again, Cunha missed a great chance maybe to get a point, and again, that would have been 2 goals for him. But the amount of chances and goals they're giving up, you're never really going to make big progress. That's all right for us, maybe a small club, or you might be an entertaining club, but just you can still dig deep. They still have to find a way, and after the game, I've always felt as a player, I'd prefer the points than the praise. So there's no point coming out afterwards and saying, particularly at Man United, going, yeah, well, you know, we played really well, we were a bit unlucky. No, I'd rather come out and get, no, we weren't at our best, but I tell you what, we got the job done. And even United today, they can dig deep. They've got to be more intense when they're defending. They've got to be a bit more pride. I look at Dalot there, he's getting interviewed after the game, and Dalot for the second goal, the intensity or his desire to stop a cross. And these are like big moments in a football match. It might be, again, it ends up being a poor cross, but Aston Villa, again, playing with confidence, I believe, make the most of it. Whereas United are just letting teams away with it. You can't give up 6 goals in 2 matches and stand there and expect to say we're going to get results. You're just making it really hard for yourselves. And they're up against it now with people like Bruno. OK, he's brought on a couple of younger players today. There's players away. And these are the challenges of playing for Man United. But you can also dig deep. You can also win playing ugly. You have to find a way to do that. Because there's no good turn. A part of football is when you're out of possession, and this team out of possession are nowhere near good enough. And I don't know where that intensity, that drive and belief is to try and get a result. I don't see it. Again, I've watched United today and watched them closely recently, and out of possession, I said it before the game, teams seem to create chances and goals far too easily. There has to be a pride in when you're a player for a team to say, we're going to be hard to beat. And they're not. I think it was 18 games they lost last year.
If they were better at
well, the great example there would be the second goal. Just go in with the players tomorrow and go, listen, we're up against Villa. We have a good record here, but obviously that can come to an end as well. Villa are doing well, and they've got moments that we saw Rodgers producing moments of magic. But let's make it a bit harder for them. For a great example, if you want to analyse football, look at Dalot here. Dalot the full-back. Look at Dalot. Look at that. And you tell me that's the intensity of a desire of a footballer to say you are not going to get a cross in. It's not as if somebody's done a brilliant trick or ran at him with real pace. Like to stand a full-back, a bit different if it was a striker back. He's a full-back. You get down low. You get your body in position. You said, you know what, if you're going to have to do remarkably well. But this is not a tricky winger, someone light in place. This is just a little shimmy. Look at Dalot, just focus on him. Keep watching him. Look, it's like, have a cross and this ends up being the winning goal, of course. And the football is about moments. Man United don't control too many games, to be honest with you. They're trying to pick moments. But after the bus, you forget the rest of the game. They would have been training all week. They would have had their pasta. They would have had their team talks. They would have come down to Birmingham last night. And then you've got a full-back who doesn't want to stop across. There you go. And then the player comes out afterwards, and these are important players. These are international players. You're going, and you're talking about, well, we have to dig deep. No, you have to stop across. Or do your best to stop the cross. To me, he's not doing his best to stop across there. And these are defining moments in a game of football. And we could talk all day about all the other bits, the lovely, pretty parts. But United don't do the other bits really well in terms of rolling their sleeves up. They lost far too many games this year. This year is a little bit better from going forward as a team and being a goal threat. But you talk about any really decent team, you start about being hard to beat. We look obviously where Arsenal are at the moment, and it's hard to, never mind get the goals, it's hard to get a chance. Just the last two games, United conceded 6 goals. What chance have you got? You got Newcastle coming up in a few days. Newcastle. They'll come to Old Trafford. They'll enjoy it. They'll have runners, and we'll see the desire of Man United there to try and get a result. Because you can have all the talent in the world. We mention it time and time again. But you got to roll your sleeves up, and when the game gets a bit tight, or there's moments you go, I'm going to do my bit for the team. And there's too many players like Dalot who just don't do enough. I won't use the word cheating, but they're just not doing enough. And after the game, I'd be looking at him. I wouldn't be looking at the other bits of the game. I'm saying, are you going to stop it? Same for the first goal. Players, when Rodgers gets the ball wide in the first goal, we're all sitting there. We know there's danger. Do they not know there's danger? Are they a bit blasé going, do I have to do... Yeah, these are the ugly bits of football. We know you've got the other bits, but you've got to do the ugly bits of football. That's what all the top teams do. And you get the end product here. We see... Again, we're talking about making tackles, making sacrifices. Even Dalot here, I just look here. And again, I might be hard on him today. Where's Dalot going here? Just slow down. You know Rodgers is right-footed. You know he's going to cut in. It's just... Yeah, here you go. Just give you a free shot. Brilliant finish. Take nothing away from Aston Villa. But from a United point of view, I use the word intensity and the desire to try and get a result or to make it hard for Aston Villa. You want Aston Villa after the game today in that dressing room. You want to go to the Villa dressing room and go, oh, well done, and they're like, they're exhausted, they're tired. I bet they were like, it's not so bad playing against United. When United out of possession, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league. In possession, of course, they're good. There's a threat. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals today. But unfortunately, part of being a footballer, particularly if you want to be a top footballer, is what you do out of possession. Everyone wants to talk about what you do in possession, what you do on the other side of it. And Man United cut corners and they take too many risks, and that's why they're getting punished. And I'm glad they get punished. I like teams getting punished who take chances, end up letting their teammates down, their supporters down, and their fans down. And after the game, they're very blasé in the interviews. I'd be looking at players and I'm thinking they're like robots. They're like, oh, well, we're a bit lucky, Bruno. No, find a way. Roll your sleeves up. They don't do that well enough, United.
And it's going to get harder for Manchester United because the report on Bruno that we heard there, as much as Ruben Amorim can say at the moment, this is the next 10 fixtures. So we don't know how much of this he's going to miss, but it came off with a soft tissue injury, and he said it's going to be a little while. But they've also got players who are going to be away with the Africa Cup of Nations. That could go... I mean, some like Mbermo, Mazraoui, Ahmad, and they potentially could get... If they get to the final, they'll be missing right up to the Manchester City game. So that's the length of time they could be away. So that, plus another injury, plus players who are already missing out, means that they're kind of stretched a little bit. And then if you've got Kobbie Mainoo on the fringes, with everything that's going on with him, and then he misses out on the squad today with a late calf injury, it's starting to look a little stretched for Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I think it is. And, you look at Bruno now missing for we don't know how long. He's been the best player for Manchester United for years now. If he's now out for 4, 5, 6 games, it's going to get even tougher. And like I say, the players that are going away to the African Cup of Nations as well. Now you start looking at the squad and you're relying on maybe the youngsters that come on today. They've got no experience. Of course, they need to get that experience, but where Manchester United are at as a club, you need to get wins on the board. And the next few games that they've got coming up, of course, Newcastle at home is going to be a tough game. You know, I think we saw that they've got Wolves, they've got Burnley. You know, no disrespect to them teams there, but they're games that they should be winning. But when you're looking at your squad now and you're thinking, well, have I got the players to adjust and be in them positions? It is going to be tough. And, you know, you've got to get straight back on the training pitch now and work on. Like Roy was saying, we said it before the game. Going forward, you know, they've got players that can create something out of nothing. It's the opposite side. It's working hard. It's the intensity. It's the defending. And, you know, we saw that on the 2 goals. We've been through it. You know, Len Yoro could get out to the first one after Morgan Rodgers' touch. You know, you start to know players. You should know players. He's going to come back on inside on his right foot. And if you give him that much space and time, you know, he could put the ball in the top corner like he did. The second goal, the same thing. It's Tielemans out there. You know, you want to show him back up the pitch instead of letting him get a cross in. You're thinking, oh, maybe the cross won't amount to nothing, but it actually does. And, you know, Ollie Watkins is on his front foot instead of Haven. Rodgers gets a touch, he scores, and that wins the game. So it's the details of not when you're in possession, when you're out of possession, and the intensity and the work rate that you have to put in. And if you're not putting that in, you'll get punished like you did today.
And it means those comments that he made about young players, and he brought young player on today particularly, the comments that he made about them maybe being a little complacent and a little bit entitled in terms of expecting there to be a natural progress into the first team. It all feels a little bit more heightened when we hear comments like that about the senior pros, about the players who should be leading the line and should be the ones who are doing the work off the ball.
Yeah, and it's hard for young kids to come through. It's hard, you know, they're playing against the rest of the world. They're not playing when we played. You know, now they're playing against kids from Brazil and all over South America where you can bring them in. So it's hard, but you want to bring these kids into good football teams. Do you know what I mean? When they make that jump, they've got to come into a team that's flying. Do you know what I mean? Like Arsenal, when you see Arsenal, when they bring Wanyeri on and Dowman, they're playing full of confidence. They look after the players. You know, bringing them players on now. You know, I said to Ashley, as soon as Fletcher come on, first thing you should do when Fletcher comes on, give him the ball. Straight away, give him it, get him in the game. And it's not like that. They're all looking after themselves first, and that's why it's hard for these kids. But, yeah, you know, they might have to go another way. You know, it'd be up to the owners of the club. They might look at it and go, wait there a minute, we want youth. We need youth in the team. We ain't got money to go and buy 60, 70, 80 million pound players. We've got to get these kids in, and the only way you can get them in and see if they are good is by keep on playing them. You know, for me, what would it hurt playing the young kid Fletcher against Newcastle? What would it hurt? They're not winning the league. They might get top 4, doubt it. So give these kids a chance. Give them a chance at home, Newcastle. You're playing against a very good midfield in Bruno and Tonali. You know, can only help, you know, for me. So, yeah, but my big worry, when I see all them stats today, you know, Man United, he made 1 save, I think, Martinez, and that was when Sesko should have put it over him. The other one, obviously, headed it wide. But for all them stats that were double more than Villa,
but the goals
didn't do anything.
Even the league table, the goals against compared to the other, and I don't mean the top teams, I'm on about the teams in the top 12 or 13. As a manager and the staff, they must be looking at the players. And you're not about bringing young players into a senior team, but you've got a proper good senior pros. Have United got that? I don't think they have. I don't think you have 6, 7, 8 top players who will drag these kids along. Absolutely not. So, yeah, sometimes you throw the kids in, but you're like, well, good luck in this team. You showed a clip earlier about Nev and all these lads when they came through, but they were coming into a top dressing room. Proper men who'd won titles and would help these kids out. I don't know if there's enough senior players at United. The evidence isn't there that they will help these young kids because everyone seems to be looking after themselves. And if they're cutting corners, like we saw today with some of the goals, then these are the habits these young lads will be seeing these senior players do. And that is such a bad example for these kids to have.
Well, if you're playing at home to Newcastle on Boxing Day and Martinez plays in front of Fletcher, if you're sitting there as a kid, you think, what's the point in being here? What's the point playing a centre-half as a centre midfield player when I'm coming through? You know, he can play. He's a good player. I've seen him play. Give him a chance. Give him a chance this weekend. What worst thing that can ever happen is he has a bad game, like most of them have every other week. So you're not losing anything, and it helps. The fans go home. They go, you know, well, at least we've got one of our youngsters coming through, and they see something. Can't keep on buying 50, 60, 70 million pound players, you know.
And when we see United lose, we will obviously look at excuses for United, but it's Aston Villa's day today. 2 world-class moments. A team that's on the up, a lot of momentum, a world-class manager. So it's thumbs up to Villa today, and maybe United will have to, again, reflect and have a look what they're doing and stop cutting corners.
And having said all of that, Manchester United still only 3 points off the Champions League places. So not all doom and gloom necessarily, but like you say, defensively there are issues. 28 goals conceded.
Diogo, what was your sense today? Did it almost feel like one of those days where just everything went against you?
I mean, I think we had really good moments during the game. We kept high. We knew that they wanted to play long, and then if we win the second balls, we could control the game. I think we did it quite well in the first half. I mean, 1 or 2 chances that they had it. Great first goal. I mean, credit also to Morgan. It was a great goal. And then on the second half, I think we tried to do the same things. On the ball, I think we were quite comfortable. I think we could have been a bit more direct, try to find the spaces in behind because they had a quite high line. And then we have to kill the chances that we had.
There's a couple of very similar goals that they scored. From a defensive point of view, anything you could have done about it? I don't just mean you personally, I mean as a team.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we knew that they could try to find Morgan in the wide areas, and then they would do movements to attract the space, and then he could drive the ball inside. I think we could have avoided also those type of movements. But again, I think we did enough to score more goals. We couldn't take the chances that we had, and I think that's the overall for today.
How big a blow was it to lose Bruno when you did, and either at half-time or just now going into the changing room? Has he said anything about how he's feeling?
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, we don't know how bad it is, but for him to come off the game, we know how tough he is for him to come off. And
Is this going to be, for the rest of you, a real test of your character?
Yeah, but this is the times where opportunities come for other players, and that's the time we have to you step up and you show that you deserve to be in the team, that you deserve to play more minutes. I think that's how the players that are going to get opportunities should look at. And at the end, we're Man United. We have to find a way to win.
So no moaning, no moping, can't afford it?
No, it's impossible from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No complaints from Manchester United or from Diogo Dalot. I mean, the bright spark for them potentially is Matheus Cunha and the sort of potential that he has to become a superstar at Manchester United. And we saw a little bit of that in the goal.
Yes, more than potentially. He obviously is the real deal. I think we see this with his finish here, opens his body up, and it was never in doubt. As soon as it broke to him there, you're thinking this is going to be his goal written all over again. Poor from Villa. Not sure what Cash is doing there. Cons is going to maybe... It's a minute before half-time. He can't be coming out there just trying to give him an angle. Cash can go up the line, but a brilliant finish. But, of course, the life of a striker, and then he misses a sitter in the second half. But in terms of this finish, beautiful. Whipped finish, never in doubt.
And yet, he has an opportunity at 1-1.
Well, this is where football drives you mad, isn't it? Again, an outstanding player, absolutely brilliant delivery. As soon as he leaves his foot, you're thinking... And then... do you know what? There's no logic to it. We can't even explain. It's almost... We were saying here it's easier than a penalty. You know, he's 5-6 yards. Oh my God! Only the player maybe could explain to it where he just lost concentration as it's coming onto his head. Sometimes for a player it's too easy, but he's just got it on target. It's a goal, and then it would another big moment for United. And but again, I'm not sure. Right? Dalot's come on there, and we talk about. I think sometimes we give United a bit of a free pass. Sometimes we say they're neat and tidy, they're good in possession. Should have scored there. You're thinking could get a draw, but the intensity when they're actually defending. They've conceded 2 today, 4 against Bournemouth. And the teams don't have to work that hard, really, particularly Villa's second goal. We talk about the principles of being a footballer, and if you're a full-back, and actually a full-back a lot, but stopping crosses, intensity, finding a way to get a result. And they didn't do that well enough.
And it's just...
Morgan, a special win for the club that will be remembered for a couple of unbelievable moments delivered by your right foot. What does it mean to decide and light up a game like this?
Yeah, it's massive. Every game's important against no bigger team than United. They come here to play, and they're a tough team to play against. We've not had a great record against them recently, so we knew we wanted to play it right, and we're just really happy with the 3 points.
So you've done the whole end, sharing the moment.
The fans make football. Playing with no fans or playing with fans, it's 2 completely different sports. It's so enjoyable playing here. We've got the crowd behind us. We're really strong at home, and you can see in our performances. So, yeah, each and every one of them, they come here every game and make it a great place to play.
I tell you what, just looking at your goals today, you don't half make it look easy. Does it just come very naturally to you, or shooting? Do you work on it again and again in training?
Yeah, it's hard work. It's long hours. You want everyone to go in the top corner like that. So it's nice when it does go in. yeah, you just got to keep trying and trying. It is, sometimes it's your day, sometimes it isn't. And luckily lately it's been my day, which I'm happy about. So
it has been your day an awful lot. I was sat right behind the first one, and it just looked like there just wasn't a shred of doubt in your mind, like it was only going one place. Is that kind of where you're at with your form right now? It just feels almost like you feel unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm feeling really confident. I'm enjoying my football, but not just me, it's the team. The team's performances, the team give me that confidence, give me that belief, and allow me to be me, and that's the most important thing. And team performances are getting us the wins, not just me. So yeah, big game, big win.
And you're right at the top table of English talent right now, battling for your place in the England team with some unbelievable footballers. How much does that drive you on, just wanting to be the best of the best?
Yeah, massively. That's why I play football. I play football to try and fulfil my potential and be the best version of myself as possible. And I try my hardest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I live with the results. But yeah, I just keep working hard, and wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Yeah, and hard to sort of not think about the title after a run like this, or at least being in that battle to the end.
We'll let everyone else make that.
We'll have a go at that.
Yeah, you make them conversations, not us. We're firmly focused on what our tasks at hand in each game.
Well played today. Unbelievable. Player of the match.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Meanwhile, in the top half of the table, Manchester United missed the chance to go level on points with Chelsea and Liverpool. And as much as Villa have closed the gap on Manchester City to a point, they've closed it on Arsenal to 3 points. Maybe even more significantly in terms of their ambitions this season, they are 7 points clear of fourth place Chelsea and looking very comfortable in third, and in terms of Champions League qualification points. They're a very efficient team, Ashley.
Yeah, they are, and especially around the final third. Like you say, that Man United have more touches in the final third, yet Aston Villa have come off with the win. So they're more affected in the final third, and I think you've been seeing that in the last 10 games, especially the way they've gone about their jobs. And when it's right, when the chances come up, they're putting them away. You saw Morgan Rogers today. He was everywhere. He's picking up pockets of space, and at times he was standing still. He was getting the ball, and a lot of stuff was come through him. But it was a team game, and like we said, they didn't play too well today, but they managed to get the 3 points.
Roy mentioned it earlier that Villa were able to be patient and wait for their moments. How much easier does it make it when you have a player like Morgan Rogers in the form that he's in at the moment to have that patience?
Oh, 100%. As I said, sometimes the team don't play well, but you need that X factor. You need someone who's going to do something special. Personally, I think his second goal is better than his first goal, in my opinion. He's a game changer. He's playing with confidence. As a team, you're thinking, if we don't play too well, as long as we can keep it tight at the back, Morgan Rogers is going to do something out of the ordinary, and he's producing at the moment. But you don't want to keep on relying on him week in, week out, because you can't just keep on performing like that. Otherwise, you'll be putting up figures like Ronaldo and Messi, and that doesn't happen.
Paul was saying that he prefers the second of Morgan Rogers' goals, but they were both really good finishes, even if they were sort of opportunities that were given to him. And the best angle of both of them was from Michael Oliver, who was perfectly positioned.
Really good position, yeah. And again, it takes a lot of confidence for a team like Villa to be the home team and still sit in and almost let United have possession, but you're still controlling the tempo. And when he gets in this position, we all kind of know what he's going to try and do. Why United defenders are letting him do that. And this is, do you know what it is? It's world class. And this touch here just takes the sting out of it, because I think he's going to run away from him. And United have got to liven up here. Dalot, they've got to defend better, but take nothing away from him. And you know what? The last few months he's been outstanding. You keep thinking, is he going to keep it going? Is he going to keep this standard level of play up? And he sure is. And what a brilliant finish that is. And the referee, as we see, got the best position there. No chance for the goalkeeper. He's got a bit of whip on it, pace. The player, confidence must be sky high. Great goal.
I'm only saying why it's a better goal. The other one, he makes his mind up, the defender. If you watch this goal, when it comes to him, his touch is phenomenal, and his second touch is with the outside of his foot to take it away from the defender. If you see this now, he touches it the outside of his foot to keep it away from the defender, and then he whips in. If his touch ain't good, you watch this touch, and then the one on the outside of the foot takes it away. If he takes the bad touch or one and takes it with the inside of his foot, the defender will get across. It's a phenomenal goal. And it's happening at pace as well. It's lightning quick. It's brilliant.
And they're big goals. It's big moments, as if
Wow.
they're 3-0 up against a lesser team. These are big moments for Aston Villa. Going back to the momentum. And what he's done there with the touches, Mercer's mentioned, that is world class. These are world class moments.
World class celebrations as well. Was there a touch of the Paul Merson's about that second goal, do you think? You couldn't possibly say.
No. You see things on a pitch, and it's the detail, the touch. Because as soon as that comes to him, his first thing is he lightens up. You think, I'm going to score here, and everything gets quick. He's touching. It's just that one with the outside of the right foot to take it away, to whip it. Anything else, but he can't score. The touch is phenomenal, and it's all at pace as well, which makes it even better.
And also, you look at people like Watkins, making something out of a bad ball. These are all little details that players have. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a great cross into the box. Watkins trying to get past people, get across people, and you get the little breaks, and then you hope these players who are in top form produce a world-class finish. And again, big moments for Aston Villa, because before the game you're thinking United's record's pretty decent. United have a bit of control, have a couple of chances. But when I was looking at Villa, there was definitely great self-belief. There was a calmness to the player going, yeah, we're not at it. But I tell you what, when we get our moments, we punish you. That's exactly what they did.
Morgan Rogers' upturn in form has coincided with Aston Villa's upturn in form after a really poor start to the season, both for the team and for the individuals. But it's not just about the 2 goals, his performance today. It was his all-round contribution. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And we're obviously going to talk a lot about his 2 goals, what he produced today. But like you say, it's all round, and he's in that position where I think he's playing as a number 10, but he wants to get on the ball. He's affecting the game. He's getting crosses in the box. He's getting on the half turn to get the team up the pitch. He's running the ball up the pitch. He knows he's got to do everything he can for this team. And the 2 goals were, like you say, excellent. But it's his work rate off the ball, on the ball. He knows he's in the team to do a job, and he's doing it every game. And like we say, is this going to be too much? They're relying on him too much, but you don't want to do that. But you want everybody to contribute. But when he does that, and when he is contributing in this way, it's fantastic for him, and he's in great form.
And there is that real connection that they have with the fans, which is always much easier to have when you're winning football matches. It's always a much nicer relationship.
Where does credit for the manager? 3 or 4 months ago, Villa, they just looked like they were gone. They looked like the belief, the hangover from last season, not getting the Champions League, and the way they've rediscovered their form, that momentum, that belief, the feel-good factor, obviously, at Villa. They've got a world-class manager, and these players they're like world-class players now.
World-class, and potentially playing on the world stage at this summer's World Cup. And he was giving his shirt to the young fan who had with the message on asking for his shirts. The problem for Morgan Rogers is that no matter how well he plays, there are a whole host of potential number 10s for England this summer.
But as we talk today, he's got the shirt. It's his shirt today, and that's all he can do is keep on keeping it in the day. Don't worry about what's going to happen in 6 months' time. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Take it a game at a time, training session at a time, and live in the moment. And if he keeps on doing what he's doing, he'll start. And I don't see how he don't start, because the thing is here, he's going to play. You look at Eze. Eze might not get back in the Arsenal team for a while. He might be in and out. He will keep on playing. He's going to be first choice here. Even when it's not going too well, he'll still play. And what is there, 2 more friendlies? He'd probably have to play 1 more good game for England and he starts in the World Cup.
I think it's one of them that, we've got a lot of games left of the season as well, and who knows, he could have a dip in form. And, right now, like you're saying, he's got that number 10 shirt, of course. And, if he keeps on playing the way that he's playing, he's definitely going to be that number 10. But, a lot of things can change.
And there's so many variables in all of that, which is what Thomas Tuchel wants from his number 10. He likes players who are quite adaptable and can play in different positions. But as things stand, do you think, having seen a lot of England, do you think that Morgan Rogers is the right fit for them?
He's the man at the moment, without a doubt. But we know football can change quickly. We've seen players can get injured, loss of form. But the good thing is he's got momentum. And, of course, this team has. It's not as if he's playing in a team that are struggling. The feel-good factor must be there from the whole Villa group. Like I said, even during the game, I thought they'd get over the line. The fact he's in conversation with all these other brilliant players like Foden and Palmer tells you how much progress he's made over the last 6 to 12 months. The England manager obviously likes him. He's one of the main men now at Aston Villa. He's just got to keep that going. But that's the challenge for any top player. When he's producing them moments, to keep it going, to be consistent and turn up. And he's doing it in the big moments. And these are big goals for Aston Villa. But the challenge is now he's got a big week coming up. Chelsea, Arsenal, and we'd be looking at Rodgers in the next good games and go, let's see, are you really this top guy? And the top guys deal with the pressure and the expectation. And so far, over the last few months, every time a question's been asked of him, again, regarding England, the challenges with that, and he's gone, no, I can deal with it. He's shown great kind of personality and a character. He spoke well after the game there. He's enjoying these moments, and why shouldn't he? These are the best days of his life. Enjoy it, embrace it, and now kick on.
Michael Carrick, of course, bought and sold him as Middlesbrough manager. And I tell you what, he sounds like he's got a really old head on young shoulders there.
Yeah, he certainly has. I mean, from the first time I come across him and met him, you could see that. Great attitude, wants to learn, wants to listen, understands kind of what it means and what it takes to be able to put in performances, and sacrifices a lot of things. And yeah, it's nice to see him keep his feet on the ground. You know, it's easy to get carried away with it, especially everything that's getting thrown at him at the moment. And it's going to get... there's going to be more questions on that. He's going to have to play it down an awful lot more if he keeps putting him in the top corner like that. So he's their main man. He's established himself as being their main man. Tim's already touched on it about the England and being that and becoming more kind of regular, if you like, and more a higher profile within the England team. And if he keeps doing that, there's no stopping him.
He's like a reference to any team now, because it's not always been sunshine and no obstacles in the way. Let's have it right. At the beginning of the season, he was singled out by the Villa fans. You know, he was getting ironically cheered when he was passing the ball 5 yards to his teammates. And he's come through that. The manager, who's very experienced, said he needs to play himself through this. Now, me and Michael would tell you can't do that with every player. But you can do it with players who you know, who you talk to, you can see are strong mentally, can be able to cope with it. The last thing he would have wanted has been taken out of the environment and someone else goes in and takes his shirt. He wanted to play himself through it. He was having a bad time. He's not having a bad time anymore, and the fans absolutely love him.
And did that first goal epitomise how high his belief and confidence is at the moment?
Yeah, I think it does. It's what he's good at. If you said what's his best attribute, I'd say receiving the ball and driving and committing players and taking them on left and right. Certainly around the box, I think you can see as soon as he gets it, his intent there was to attack Euro and be on the front foot. So positive, and I think, listen, I've never been that type of goal scorer, but I know when you're in a good moment yourself and you're playing well, you only see what's possible, you only see the positive solution, you don't actually see anything else. And he's probably just got it and thought, I fancy getting one-on-one and having a shot, and that's the confidence he's got, but backed up by, he knows he can do it. He knows he can do it, and he's building. He's scoring from outside the box, he's scoring from inside the box, but that is certainly one of his better ones.
Fantastic. I mean, from the Man United point of view, it's poor defending. They know, we all know. We sit there when we watch Morgan Rogers play. These boys watch Morgan Rogers play. The analysis have obviously said this is a real danger man, and what he wants to do is come in on his right side from the left-hand perch. And that's exactly what he does. You have to start and get some support to your defenders on the inside. As soon as he picks the ball up now, I believe he knows what he wants to do. He starts driving, and look, it just opens up for him. Agate there he's probably 10 yards away from him. If you look at Agate, he's deep in the box, and he puts his hands behind his back, and he's 10 yards away from him. When this goes into the back of the net, you'll see him there from behind. I mean, it's poor. Euro has to do better. He has to show him down the line, but there needs to be some defensive support on the inside. Morgan don't want to go down the outside. He doesn't want to go on his left side. He wants to come in on his strong right foot, and he's brilliant at it. But the defending was very poor. And
will United be a bit frustrated with their positioning and the fact they didn't clear the ball for Rodgers' second goal as well?
Yeah, I think it's very similar in many ways. I think they've limited Aston Villa to minimal kind of opportunity, especially even territory around their box. But when they've got here a couple of times, and it's kind of, the first one was a little bit naive. The second one's a little bit slow and a little bit after you, and kind of being a bit too nice, and probably a bit. Listen, there's a couple of younger players in there, and maybe Martinez is playing out position in midfield, and there's a little bit of, it's hard to put it on him, but he's coming at half time and playing a different position. But Euro a little bit I know he didn't want to give a penalty away, but it just feels like United are doing so many good things at the moment, but the big moments, you're almost just giving that extra half a yard, whether it's in the head, and you've got to be a little bit more robust and a little bit more streetwise and a little bit more see off the danger understand when it really matters. You've got to just nip the problem in the bud. And that's 2 goals really that, listen, Morgan's taken them unbelievably well, but United's point of view, I think there's things that you can do there to make it a lot harder than they did.
Absolutely. I mean, he has so much to do there. I would just like to highlight that touch where he takes with his toe. When he goes and wins that second ball, Ollie Watkins does brilliant to get in front of the Man United defenders. And when it bounces to him, he's under pressure. on his inside. I think it was Joro there. And his first touch with his toe, we saw Benjamin Sesko go through with Martinez, didn't we, in the first half, and he towed it nearly out of play. I mean, we're talking about someone who don't even think about it. His touch, his feel, he just smells it, he anticipates it. There's a little touch, a little one after that as well, and it just sets him up perfectly. He's just a class apart than the average footballer.
And full credit, as the boys were saying, to his manager, Unai Emery, who certainly enjoyed both of those goals, particularly the second one. I don't see too much emotion from Unai Emery these days, but that is the way he celebrated. But he has been inspired by Villa managers of the past. Unai Emery's clearly been touching the tradition and history at Villa Park. That's what you do when you get a good moment as the Villa manager, isn't it, Tim? We certainly have to bleep that out, don't worry.
I don't know why you bleeped out Unai, unless there are a lot of Spanish speakers out there. That's certainly. I'll tell you what it was. It was about, this is the moments in games what change. Brad Guzan was my goalkeeper, and he tried to play out in a ridiculous area, nearly cost us a goal, and we go up the other end and we actually score. So it's a bit half relief, but the emotion, listen, you can't, Michael, what's it like when you're standing there? It's just.
I've never done that, I don't know.
He was too cool for that.
He is,
Too cool.
He's too laid back.
The emotions just take you on, and it's, and especially with a big crowd like at Villa Park, it's, when they're on your side, they're magnificent.
Must be humbling to know you've inspired Unai Emery in this celebration anyway. So, right, all smiles for Unai Emery. Defeat, though, for Manchester United and their manager. Here he is, Ruben Amorim. Well, that's a big blow. You can see how down he is about his captain. He'll be out for a while, just to give you a reason why United haven't often played without Bruno Fernandes. He's played 325 times since his debut, and in that period he's missed just 17 of those 325 games.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing run, and I think that's why he almost surprised. We were surprised. We've never really seen him do that, and I was hopeful that with the carrying on and coming off at half time that it might have been a kind of a smaller one, really, and it's a bit of a precaution at half time, but the manager didn't really want to commit too much, understand. I have to say, as much as that we thought of the impact again, I thought United dealt with it very well, actually, and Ugarte and particularly Martinez coming into midfield. I thought it didn't really disturb the flow of the game. I know, obviously, they scored with and conceded the goal, but actually, if you're looking at the flow of it, I thought that United were in a good place for a lot of that game, and surely they've got to miss Bruno because he offers so much and he impacts the team a lot. I like the way the manager was positive and said, we've got to get on, we've got to find a way, and we've got solutions, and we have to play. Young boys, we do great, we'll back them. I think you've got to just embrace the situation and take it for what it is, and it's a big period of time coming up for them in the games over Christmas.
It is, because he's got 4 away with AFCON, he's got De Ligt and Maguire still out, he's lost Fernandes today, and obviously we don't know the situation with Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, that's when you look at the bench today, that's quite a list for Manchester United to cope with.
Yeah, they didn't look strong from the outset, did they? Both on the pitch and in the subs. But now he probably wishes that he had give the kids a little opportunity, dropping them in 10 minutes, 15 minutes here or there, because now he's going to be forced to do it. But it's up to the boys now to take their opportunity. You mostly get your chance in adversity, and now they've got the opportunity. So Kobe's going to have to get himself fit, and he's going to have an opportunity to go and play. I just worry, you talk about managing minutes, when they've had so many games in the past, playing in Europe, playing cup competitions. Now they're not. Now they're playing from Premier League to Premier League. I don't think they're training enough. I really don't. I think you have to manage your schedule, and that means putting in some harder sessions during the week and train as you play. And I think that is why it can only be a muscle injury we're talking about there. That's something they're not doing correct in training, because if the games are coming thick and fast, there's enough game time. We talked about the man. I mean, the availability of Bruno Fernandes is incredible, but he's been playing an awful lot of games over the years. Now it's only 1 game a week, and he's playing the next one. They have to step up their training. I'm a firm believer that a lot of injuries come from undertraining. I don't listen to this nonsense of overplaying, and I just don't buy into it. I just think it's about, if you're not training as firm as and with the aggression of what you're playing, then when the adrenaline's flowing and the crowd are around the pitch, you're going to get yourself injured. And I think I can only surmise that he's undertrained there, because he's only playing 1 game a week. Bruno Fernandes, he doesn't miss a game, but he's usually playing 2 games a week.
Did you get a Christmas card from the sports science department at Villa?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did. Yeah. I mean, you've been here. When you lose players, you have to, like you say, you've used the word embrace, but you have to be inventive, don't you? Like a Martinez in midfield today.
Yeah, I think you've got to see it as the challenge, you know, and there's the number of games in the league and the number of games in cups or whatever. That's just how it is. It always is that, and you always get, every team gets injuries, and it's how you get through it. You know, it's not one team. I know you might get a few more than everyone gets them at some point. Some have got squads that can cope with it, but actually it's always a thing. And part of being successful in the league is who can adapt, who can get on with it, who's positive, who's prepped right, whether you got games or not games, and getting through a season. You know, it's not a perfect world, and I actually thought they adapted and made the most of probably what they could today. But it's not new. It's not going to go away. You can't play less games, but you're still going to get injuries. But you've got to make the most of it and take on the challenge to go, actually, I'm fit enough, I'm strong enough, or we can fight and we can scrap and we can get through it. And I see it as a big challenge rather than the negatives of what we're missing.
Yeah. Casemiro have got back after suspension for Boxing Day. Let's finish with Villa. I mean, Morgan Rogers said, we'll let you guys have the conversations. You said at the top then they can't win the title. Do you still say that, even when the
I don't think they can win it.
off,
I
halfway?
hope they do, but I just think if they can win it. I said they can win it if they keep everyone fit. At the moment, they're keeping everyone fit, and there's a happy dressing room because they're all feeling part of it because they're all getting their minutes. So, you know, why not? If they keep everyone fit, they've got an opportunity to. But I wasn't convinced there today, I have to say that. You know, I thought they got over the line, but so do Liverpool, so do Man City now and again, so do Arsenal. So it's going to be tough for them.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company. Tim's off to celebrate by whipping his jacket off above his head because Aston Villa have won for 10 in a row and they've gone back within 3 points of the leaders for Christmas from the three of us.
So for today's deep dive, we're going to get right into the fallout from that Aston Villa versus Manchester United game, the 2-1 result.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
We've got a whole stack of material here. Post-match interviews, pundit analysis, and we're really trying to get to the bottom of one big question for you.
Which is, when a manager says his team played well but was unlucky.
How much of that is just, you know, keeping morale up, and how much is maybe delusion?
Exactly. I mean, the manager, Ruben Amorim, he was completely firm on this. He defended his tactics, that whole agate setup they tried.
5-man defense, yeah.
And he also brought up the youngsters, Fletcher and Lacey, saying it's, you know, part of the club's history and they don't want to just spend money.
But he used that specific word, unlucky. And my first thought is, are the pundits, the experienced guys, are they buying that?
Oh, not at all. Not even a little bit. The consensus is pretty blunt, really. It's basically, you know, I'd prefer the points over the praise. You just can't claim bad luck after shipping 6 goals in your last 2 matches. I mean, 4 against Bournemouth and then 2 today.
So the real critique is that fundamentally they're just. They're nowhere near good enough when they don't have the ball.
They make it way, way too easy for other teams to create chances.
But is that a system problem? Or is it something else? Because a lot of the analysis I've seen points more to individual efforts.
That's it exactly. It's a leadership and intensity issue, 100%. Let's just zoom in on that winning goal for a second.
Okay.
The criticism of Diogo Dalot was, well, it was brutal. They talked about a total lack of intensity or desire to stop a cross.
And that's not a complex tactical mistake.
No, that's the basics. The ugly bits of football that all the top teams get right.
And that, for me, gets to the heart of it, this bad habits problem. Because if a senior international player like Dalot is seen to be cutting corners.
Well, what example does that set for the academy kids Amorim is so keen to bring through?
It just trickles down, doesn't it?
It has to. The pundits see a team that just needs to learn how to win ugly, to dig deep when things aren't going their way, instead of just hoping for a moment of brilliance.
Okay, so let's flip this around. We have to give credit where it's due. To the winners, Aston Villa.
Absolutely. Their efficiency was the difference. They were just more affected in the final third, as one pundit put it.
And that win keeps them right in the mix, doesn't it? Just a point off Man City.
A point off City and 7 clear of Chelsea in 4th. It's huge for them. And a lot of that came down to one player's X factor.
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers. He had these world-class moments that just decided the game, and everyone was talking about one thing in particular.
That touch for the second goal.
That phenomenal touch with the outside of his foot, at full pace.
It was beautiful. Just took the ball completely away from the defender and showed so much confidence. Something we didn't always see from him earlier in the season.
And that's the contrast, isn't it? One moment of pure clinical quality against a moment of defensive laziness. which sort of brings us back to United's problems.
The injury domino effect.
Yeah, and the big one is Bruno Fernandes, a hamstring injury.
Which is crazy. The guy is indestructible. I saw a stat that he's only missed 17 games out of 325 since he joined. It's unbelievable.
It is. So losing him, plus a late calf injury for Kobe Mainoo, and you've got Mazawi and Ahmad away at the African Cup of Nations. It's a massive test of character.
It forces your hand.
Yeah.
You have to rely on those inexperienced players.
It does. And this is where that really interesting pundit theory comes in. The idea that Bruno's injury suggests the team might actually be undertraining.
Wait, undertraining? That sounds, it sounds totally backward.
It does, right. But here's the logic. Because they're only playing 1 game a week now, not 2, the argument is their day-to-day training isn't hitting that high-intensity peak.
So their bodies aren't conditioned for it.
Exactly. So when a match day comes with all that adrenaline, the body isn't ready for those explosive moments. And that's when you get these soft tissue injuries.
Wow. So if that's true, it points to a much deeper issue with their whole preparation.
It really does. Which brings us to the final takeaway. Manchester United is at this critical point. Talent alone isn't cutting it.
It's about consistency, defensive pride, and just plain hard work.
Right. And if that undertraining theory has any truth to it, if their very preparation is soft because players are cutting corners, it suggests a systemic problem.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. Can you really develop resilient, world-class young players in an environment where even the absolute basics of physical conditioning might be compromised?
It's a tough question, and one that hangs over the club long after that final whistle.